welcome back to another episode of Tonight's Watch. I'm Geoff.
I'm Ron.
And we appreciate you guys checking us out. If this is your first time listening to us, what we do is basically give a couple minutes of a spoiler-free rundown of the new episode of Game of Thrones, and then dive into full spoilers. So, Ron, what were your thoughts today, spoiler-free?
Lot of intense politics setting up for God knows what at the end of the season.
Yeah, I thought this episode, while last week's was good, I thought this episode did a lot better job of still being a lot of setup, but sprinkling in shit actually going down.
Yes.
Because there was some decently important shit that goes on in this episode, but it's still largely set up for the ending of the season. So yeah. I was really, really happy with this episode. And anything else you want to add with it?
No, not really. I said it was not that Game of Thrones ever has a bad episode, but it was a much stronger episode than last week for sure. Definitely
agree. So with that, we are going into full spoilers territory.
Spoiler.
Yep. And first of all, the first thing you notice, I noticed it too, is they don't go into the intro.
I was like, what?
I was checking my HBO Now to make sure I hadn't accidentally skipped ahead.
Right.
I had a momentary freak out moment.
I think they've done that before, but I don't remember when. That seemed familiar.
Yeah, I think they've done it twice, maybe 3 times. Not if it's very rare they do it. So once I realized I hadn't skipped ahead, I was like, oh shit, something cool is about to happen.
Yeah, it really fucking jars you when they do that. Which, by the way, before that even, did you notice that their previews, from the recaps, are getting so much longer and so much more intense?
Yeah, I honestly can't blame them because they have so much shit they have to
eventually, it's going to be a 2-hour episode. 1 hour is the recap, and 1 hour is the episode.
But, yeah, you get the reveal. Finally, the fucking Hound is back. I was so happy. I did the fucking Tiger Woods fist bump, man. I was like, yes. I love the Hound.
Yeah, I fucking love the Hound. Yeah, it was no secret that he was coming back because usually Game of Thrones shows you every detail of a character's death. So, but to actually see him was very exciting.
Yeah, he last time he was seen was I believe the season 4 finale. So he was gone for the better part of 2 years. That's a long time to be without such a cool character. With maybe my all-time favorite line in fiction. Of course you named your sword. Lots of people name their swords. Lots of cunts. So good. I could watch that scene on a loop all day and then still be just as entertained by it.
His delivery makes it all.
It's fucking perfect. And then in the same intro, they reveal who Ian McShane is going to be playing in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And dude, fucking Ian McShane was born to be a Game of Thrones character. He was fucking perfect.
He was. I fucking love Ian McShane, dude. And every line he said, whether it was a stinger or not, was just gold.
So good. Yeah, so good. Pretty much the synopsis behind it is he found the Hound when he was on the brink of death. He actually straight up thought he was dead. They have some good dialogue.
And he said he nearly shit his pants and he started coughing or something.
So Ian McShane kind of nursed him back to health. The Hound has basically said fuck it with everything. He has gone to basically do manual labor for this little church group.
Basically, he's reevaluating his life, because he had a near-death experience. Very near-death experience. And
I love the first time you see the Hound, too, because you see the normal people carrying the timber.
Yes.
And you just see one dude carrying a log by himself. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I think it was 3 timbers with 3 people each, and then the next one that walks in the frame is him carrying it by himself. And I was like, oh, fucking Hound.
I was seriously geeking out. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to the intro?
No, I don't believe so. There was the one line that I really liked that Ian McShane threw in. I just want to throw in real quick. When they were talking about the gods, and Ian McShane is talking about how he doesn't even know which fucking gods they are. He doesn't know their names or anything like that. And he says, well, if they're real, why haven't they punished me? And Ian McShane said they have, and just walked off. I thought that was just those two words. His delivery on that was fantastic.
It was every scene between the Hound and Ian McShane was just fantastic, and then with that they jumped into the intro, and then when we came back, it started off with Marjorie and the High Sparrow, and my first note that I put down for this is what exactly is Marjorie's end game behind what she's doing?
She's kind of playing her cards the way Cersei would a little bit.
It's kind of funny is like when you think about how much Cersei hates Marjorie, and I think part of it might be just how much she sees in her and of herself in Marjorie.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it's because she is straight up. One of my notes was I love the idea of they're playing her up as almost like a double agent. Like she's, she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
She's playing them all, and she kind of has to because the only shot they have is for one fucking person that's competent to be near the High Sparrow. Because
Yes.
Tommen sure as shit isn't.
No, he's not competent in any way. They made a point that Marjorie is still Marjorie, which is my exact note. And then, in case that wasn't fucking clear enough for you, they fucking spelled it out with the note she passes her grandmother with the rose. But
I fucking love Lady Tyrell.
I
love
do too.
They're Marjorie and her are sitting at the table talking, and then they cut away to the show that the Septon lady is there with her.
Yeah.
And then Lady Tyrell is just like, does it move or breathe? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to have a conversation. She's fucking gold at every single line.
I loved her in, what was it? Was it season 4 or season 5 with she's just like in the gardens, and it had all those scenes with her and Marjorie and stuff. Like she gives no fucks, dude. I fucking love her.
I know she's one of the best.
I adore her.
Honestly.
You would have liked her in Torchwood too. That same actress. She's just like that.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go and watch just her episode.
I'm starting to get the feeling that that's just the way she is.
So, yeah, I think it's actually really cool how they've kind of turned Marjorie into one of the more interesting characters in the show. Because I really, really like the angle they've gone with her, with the High Sparrow.
I've always found her interesting because she's always kind of had her own agenda, you can tell. But the whole double agent thing is really, really grabbing my attention.
It's really cool, and she's basically Cersei if she wasn't a giant bitch.
Right?
Yeah, I think they have a lot of cool stuff coming for Marjorie, which means she's probably gonna get fucking killed,
right?
Like any day now,
and it'll be gruesome. Yeah,
because with that, they cut away to Snow and the wildlings. Pretty much, we've kind of assumed that the wildlings would back him after him saving them all at Hardhome, but you could tell, other than basically Tormund and a couple of them, they were still kind of on the fence about it because.
Right.
They're right in that, Snow saved them, but they're going to end up losing a lot of people for a fight that is not their own, has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And then they have the really, really cool scene, which is the foundation for pretty much half the episode, and it's Snow, Sansa, and Davos and Tormund trying to collect up this army to go after Winterfell. And I loved the wildling scene where Snow is trying to make his case. Tormund is talking with the giant and the other wildlings, and then I love the scene too with the giant. The giant just stands up. Everyone shuts the fuck up. It is silent for a second. He's just like, "No."
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really cool. One of my favorite lines from the episode was after they kind of get everyone on board, and I also kind of liked how. Have you noticed everyone else is playing the Snow resurrection card, everyone but Snow?
Yeah.
I think that's been kind of clever.
Yeah, I love when Tormund was just like, he died for us,
Because Snow was almost like embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
Because you keep playing it as a trump card, and then he's just like kind of uncomfortable with it. But one of my favorite quotes was after Tormund and Snow kind of get him on board. And then Snow asks Tormund, he says, "Are you sure they'll come?"
Yes.
And then Tormund just says, "We're not clever like you Southerners. When we say we'll do something, we'll do it."
Yeah, I really liked that. I also really liked during the debate when the guy was basically saying all the terrible things that could happen if they go with Snow, and he's like, that'll happen if you go without, you don't go with me. Because once they come through us, they're going to come for you. So either way.
Yeah, the only chance the wildlings have is Snow.
Yeah, and then he said, I didn't write it down, and I should have, but he said something like, yeah, it's not your fight, and he basically just threw back everything that guy said, completely agreeing with him. And then he says that I can't do this without you, and you can't survive without us.
Yeah.
I really like that line, too.
Yeah. Man, if only real life politics were as interesting as Game of Thrones politics.
Oh, God, I know, dude.
I would watch the Trump debates and the Clinton debates if there was a gigantic giant, just chilling in the background. It'd make it so much more interesting.
And then what are you going to do when he stands up and says, Trump? Like, you're going to shoot him with an arrow? We know how that ends.
Right. It ends in a gruesome sound effect that makes Geoff want to throw up.
Me.
Yeah, it really does. Did you have anything else to add with that scene?
No, I think that pretty much covers that scene.
With that, they move to Cersei and Lady Tyrell.
I fucking loved it.
I love... Lady Tyrell is the only person I think that can
wish she was
Cersei
my grandmother.
Shut the fuck up.
I wish she was my grandmother, dude. I really do.
She is the coolest grandma in television history, I think.
I would agree with that.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure she's the only person to actually make Cersei shut up, because they actually have a scene. The scene ends with Cersei shutting the fuck up for like the first time ever.
And it was fantastic.
So Cersei's trying to kind of plead with her, saying, we really, really need each other. We're in the same boat. And Lady Tyrell's just like, fuck you, I'm leaving.
Fuck you, we're in this boat because you put us here. Yeah.
And I like the line, too, I should have written down, where she was just like, the one happy thing that has happened was seeing you get fucked over by him,
Yeah.
That was another good line.
It's like the only joy I can find in all this mess, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That was an abrupt scene. Did you have anything else to add with that one?
No, that was pretty much it. It was just badassery at its finest from like a 70, 80-year-old lady. It was great.
I want a spinoff with Lady Tyrell just yelling at people.
Right.
I watched that shit.
She's going to end up with the Iron Throne, dude. Just you wait.
Dude, we'd be fine. You give her dragons, they'll be fucking fine. And then after that, they transition to Jaime and Bronn. Bronn's back.
I know. The only note that I really have is just Bronn in all caps and 2 exclamation points.
Well, we could have written down every single thing he says in the episode, and it was all quotable. It was all absolute gold.
Be fucking you in the ass right now.
Fucking one of the ones I actually wrote down for it was Jaime talking to him when he's trying to talk him into help leading the army, and he says, "You have better instincts than any officer in the Lannister army." He's like, "That's like saying I have a bigger cock than anyone in the Unsullied army."
Yeah.
So they go up to the gate, and they're pretty much trying to play off like they're going to kill Edmure, who is, I believe, the nephew of Blackfish.
Yes.
And Blackfish is such a pimp, dude. He just walks up with a wall. He's like, go ahead and fucking kill him. I don't give a shit. Just walks away.
What makes that scene so great is how long his walk is. Then when he gets to where he's going, how long he stands there in silence before he even says anything. And he's just like, fuck him.
How Lady Tyrell is the coolest grandma ever, Blackfish is the coolest uncle ever on television, I'm pretty sure. Then they had another really, really cool Jaime moment where Jaime walks up and starts talking shit to the guy who was quote-unquote going to execute Edmure.
Right.
And then he has this whole thing that's like such a brilliant thing about empty threats, and he's just like, you see, if I say I'm not going to hit you, then don't hit you, he just bitch slaps him. I was like, yes.
With the metal hand.
With the metal hand. He got bitch slapped by a one-armed guy.
And then before I love when he said he wanted to parlay with Blackfish, and Bronn was like, parlay or fight? And then he's like, he's an old man. He's like, yeah, and you've got one hand. My money's on the old man.
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
Every fucking thing Bronn says. I want to spin off with Lady Tyrell. I want to spin off with Bronn.
Yeah, and Blackfish.
I would watch an entire prequel show that was just like the crazy adventures of Bronn.
Oh, dude, they've already alluded to the fact that he's got enough background to make his own show anyway.
Yeah. Did you have anything else to add?
He had one other quote that was sticking out in my mind too, when he said like he had no stake in this or whatever. He's just a sellsword, and he's like, "You're an anointed knight," and he's like, "Yeah, the only difference is knights don't get paid."
Oh, and he had the fucking great setup with the Jamie starts to say a Lannister always pays. He's like, don't even fucking say it. Don't you fucking say it.
Because all the times he was into trouble with Tyrion, like he's just fucking tired of hearing it.
Like, I'm so tired of your Lannister shit. Oh, I fucking love Bronn. Did you say that was all your notes for that section though?
Yeah. Other than just that entire conversation between Jamie and Blackfish was just awesome.
Yeah, it was all gold. With that, they go to one of the best scenes ever of the entire show, I think, and that is Snow and Sansa at Bear Island, House of the Mormonts.
I loved it.
And they walk in.
I even texted you my favorite quote when I was watching it.
They walk in, and this is the House of the Mormonts, which is Jorah and Jorah's dad, who was the Night's Watch commander. Yes. And then I guess the only Mormont left that is not dead or exiled is a 10-year-old Mormont who is one of the most badass characters I've ever had in the show.
Yes.
I don't know.
And that girl was fantastic in that role.
How have the casting department dudes at Game of Thrones found all of these brilliant child actors?
I don't know.
Because that little girl had more moxie than most like grown men on the show.
Dude, she commanded the room better than Jon Snow, Sansa, and Davos, and they were all in the same room.
Yeah, I just absolutely loved the way
you really got the sense that she was fucking in charge. You know?
Yeah, like no one else while they were there on the Mormont side said a fucking word.
Yeah.
The only other person that said anything was the Maester whispering to her.
Yeah.
And then I liked how, Sansa and Snow kind of start off as you normally would in kind of a patronizing manner of speaking. They start kind of talking down to her, like Sansa brings up the story about, oh, your name is so beautiful. It was based off my I guess it'd be like her aunts.
Yeah.
And she's just like, shut the fuck up. We're here for business. What do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, she shuts Jon Snow down right before he gets started too.
Yeah, she shuts him down. The only way they're able to get what they need is because Davos can actually relate to her.
Yeah.
He's pretty much, he can relate to her and how he was a fish out of water too, how he has no idea how he wound up in the position he's in. So she actually kind of relates to Davos and agrees to send them her army.
How many men can we expect?
62. And then they have that brilliant thing where before he says that, Snow like sighs. He's just like, oh, thank God we got somebody.
Yeah.
And then he says, like you said, how many men can we expect? And then she like rallies up the numbers from the other dude. It's like 62.
The look on their face. And I about fell out of my chair laughing so fucking hard because, dude, that scene is probably one of the most intense political scenes in the entire show. With this 10-year-old girl totally commanding the room, and then all of that was for 62 men.
And then the perfect end cap was Davos talking to Lady Mormont. He's just like, if those 62 are half as fierce as Lady Mormont, the Boltons have no chance in hell, or whatever he says.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was gold.
Absolute gold.
But, dude, we've seen Jorah fight. If we've got 62 Jorahs coming, I mean, like she said, they're worth 10 men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so... I also liked how halfway through the conversation, the Maester starts to lean in to whisper again. She just like literally puts up, talk to the hand.
Yeah.
And then continues her conversation. I don't know if you noticed this. I know you started the episode a little late today. She was like trending top 10, her.
Was
not
she?
even just Game of Thrones. Lyanna Mormont was one of like the most top trending things.
Really?
People were like blowing up. I wanted to include a couple of funny tweets that I saw too.
I love the one you sent me
from Johnny Action Space. If Lyanna Mormont had 3 dragons, this show would have been over 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I love that.
One of them was by Kimberly Roots. After tonight's Game of Thrones, I might have to write Lyanna Mormont on my ballot in November. Hashtag I'm with her. Another one was poor John and Sansa trying to get those super delegates. There's a lot of good tweets today about it. Yeah,
There really was. Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. 'Cause like I said, I don't know where they found her. If they just like someone knows her on the show or what, but. Like I said, she commanded a presence, and that's impressive for, a Gary Oldman level actor to command a presence in a room. I don't know where they found such a young kid to do that.
I was stunned by how good she was.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I really, really hope they find something else for her to do again because I want her more in the show.
I feel like they will because you see her later when they're making camp.
Yeah.
So I feel like they will do something later.
Yeah, man, those Mormonts, dude, they're fucking awesome. Like all of them are fucking awesome.
Every one of them, man. The original Lord Commander that we saw first was awesome. Jorah's amazing. He's in my top 5, if not my top 3 characters. And then I fucking love her.
Yeah. And I was so sad when the Lord Commander Mormont dude got it too. He was such a cool character.
Yeah, and by another cool character, Burn Gorman.
Yeah.
He was fucking drinking out of his skull.
Oh, that
image is stuck with me this whole time.
So, let's see. After that, they transitioned back to Jaime, and they have him actually do the parlay scene on the bridge with Blackfish. They have some great back and forth between those two, and I love their first lines between each other, where Blackfish walks out and he just like calmly just says Kingslayer, and then all Jaime replies back to him is Blackfish. Like,
yeah,
it was cool. I really, really like how they've had a bigger role for the Blackfish guy because he's a great fucking actor. He's one of those two who you can just totally tell he gives no fucks.
Yes,
that's always some of the cooler characters that I latch onto are the characters like him and Lady Tyrell. Just could not give less of a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really cool. He had a lot of really good dialogue, like making a pact with an Oathbreaker is like building on quicksand or something like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, they bring up how originally Jaime made the deal with Catelyn about he was getting returned in order to get Arya and Sansa back to the other Starks, and then how you and I we talked about it earlier. We had both forgotten about that plot point. You just think back to Jaime and Brienne on the road, but you don't really remember what they were doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool that he still is bringing that up, holding it over him. And yeah, I just liked all their back and forth. I liked how he pretty much told me, he was just like, you want to starve us out? We got 2 years worth of supplies. Do you have 2 years?
And one thing that I was going to say, did you notice that entire dialogue? There's like no music or anything. And then when he said that he's going to kill them all and all this stuff, and then Blackfish turns to him and walks up to him. As soon as he turns to him, the music starts fading in, and he walks up to him, and that's when he told him, like, we've got 2 years worth of provisions. Do you have 2 years? And he was just going on and on and on and on. That was when the music started, and that was the moment he got intense. Like, it was great. That whole scene was put together so well.
I like the cinematography on it too. The shots of like the bridge rising and lowering was very, very well shot.
Yeah, with Jaime standing at the end.
It was a cool setup and really, really well shot. Did you have anything else to add with the Blackfish stuff?
Nope.
I have no idea what they're going to do about that.
Yeah.
The hostage thing failed. They can't start them out. They don't have time. I have literally no idea. Did you just leave the Blackfish? Like...
Yeah, I don't know. I have
no idea.
I have a feeling Jaime and Bronn are going over the wall.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. With that, they go back to the Snow and Sansa recruitment hour. And this one does not go so well.
Is this the Iron Fist?
Do what?
Are they the Iron Fist?
I put them down. It was House Glover. That was the name that I had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they could be called Iron Fist too. There's so many fucking names and nicknames, it's hard to keep track. But they're trying to recruit House Glover. It totally falls apart. And I actually thought they did a really, really good job bringing up how the repercussions of Rob being reckless are still important.
Yeah.
Like, Rob fucked up so severely, not only in the fact that he got them all killed, but he really, really screwed over the Stark house with his decision-making. Because his mistake was so dear that they can't even get alliances reaffirmed that stood for like hundreds of years.
Yeah, houses that are sworn to them. Yeah, it's crazy the damage that did, and I really appreciate the show, not forgetting that there'd be repercussions from that, because a lot of TV shows that happened however many seasons ago, so we're just moving on. For them to bring that back up and show you that there was, it's going to cause the characters problems now.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
And it would have been really, really easy for them to forget about it too, just because its shock value hit home, because everyone in the world knows what the Red Wedding is, probably even if they don't watch the show.
Yeah.
They heard what the Red Wedding, or if they didn't know what it was, they heard the words the Red Wedding, as it was such a big deal. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I think they're very, very smart about continuing plot lines and threads that most other shows would forget. Did you have anything else to add with that scene?
No, the only thing that I wanted to say is that scene, even though it did not go well for them, did you notice the way that Arya is carrying herself? The way that Sansa get good. Did you notice the way that Sansa's carrying herself now? Like, she is basically a force just as strong as her mom was. It still just didn't go her way. But the way she stared down that guy when he got in her face and everything, I don't know. I feel like they waited too long to finally start investing in Sansa.
Yeah. I just think it all has to do with how much they continue developing her. Like, if it continues to where she's as strong as she is now, and you got 3 seasons worth of really, really strong Sansa, I think that's okay. Because the part of the problem is, like, you would like to develop her, but it was just like, where was the room for it?
Yeah.
Because to get to the point where we are now, we have had so many characters have to get killed just to be able to condense the storyline down. Where
I think one of the issues, one of the reasons I bring it up is it's not as egregious as the problem I have with Carl in Walking Dead, where they still write him as a 10-year-old and he's like 40.
Oh, God.
But she's been playing the naive child for so long now, and they're finally just waking her up. I don't know. I feel like it should have come a little bit sooner, but still, it's not that big of a complaint. But
yeah, I'm just glad that it happened, because I think she is one of the more interesting characters in the show now. I think they did a really good job. Because, like, when you think about where she was in episode 1 to now,
yeah,
it's really, really drastic, and I think it was really, really well done. Yeah, with that, they cut over to the Greyjoys.
I love this scene.
How fucking awesome is Yara, his sister?
I know. If I wasn't married already.
So they established that Yara and Theon know their uncle's going to be coming after them. And we actually called it. They are setting up. She is going to try to set up a deal with Khaleesi.
Yep.
And she pretty much has to make it work in the overall context of the show, because Khaleesi has to have a way to get back.
They have something that she needs, and she has something that they need. So, yeah, this is going to be awesome.
I cannot fucking wait to see Uncle Douchebag get just crushed by
dragons
and it's gonna be fantastic.
His own ships and dragons. Let's talk about Theon Greyjoy's therapy session, because that was some fucking dark shit, dude.
It really was. Well, part of the setup, she literally makes a fucking joke about what happened to him during his torturing. I was just like, Jesus.
Yeah. And then I loved his reaction to that. I know you've had some rough years, and he almost choked on the ale and was like, rough years? Yeah. But the entire time his head is down. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that we've talked about that numerous times, just how good that Theon actor is at having a conversation with someone, but usually not looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
and how he had to force himself in the earlier episode to talk to everyone, and how it pained him almost. That yeah,
and it wasn't until Yara was talking about, I need you with me, and if you're not going to be with me, just go ahead and slash your wrists and just be done with it. But I need Theon back if you're going to stand with me. And that was probably the first time that he has looked up into her eyes.
They have the great line where she's trying to talk him out of his trance, and she
the
says,
justice line.
Huh?
The justice line.
Yeah, I put down.
I wrote that down too.
Fuck justice, then we'll get revenge.
Yeah,
because she says if it was true justice, I'd be hanging burning in Winterfell.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. She said when we'll get justice for what happened, he's like, justice? That would be me hanging. And then her immediate reaction is just, then fuck justice. I loved it.
Yeah, she's awesome, and I liked the score too when he does look up into her eyes. They had a good music cue with it.
They've done a really good job with the theme. Every episode's had a theme so far, and this episode is called The Broken Man, and that is referring to several characters throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, it refers to not only Theon, but
the
both
Hound.
Ian McShane and the Hound.
Yep. Well, Arya to some extent, and then it refers to Theon, which you might have said already. Jamie a little bit.
Jamie pretty much coming back to we didn't really talk much about it, but the confidence Jamie showed in those scenes with Bronn
it's been
is
a
the
while.
most confident he's been in seasons.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I think it's a really, really good call. Just how many people it applied to. It was really well done.
Yeah, very well thought out.
I cannot wait to see Uncle Greyjoy douchebag get dominated. I'm just saying that right now. I cannot wait for that ship combat or whatever the fuck they do. I just want to see it happen.
Right.
Anything else to add with the Greyjoys, Ron?
Nope.
And with that, they cut back again to Snow and Sansa. And they're back at one of the fort areas where Davos mentions that Stannis was stationed at some point.
I love Sansa in this scene.
What was that?
I love Sansa in this scene because she's just calling him out on all the shit.
Yeah, at this point, they're starting to all feel a little bit defeated just with how little, manpower they've been able to assemble, even with the Stark name. That they're having infighting at the camp, that Davos and Jon have to, kind of break off to go and try to break up.
And for some reason, I laughed really hard when Davos is like, now, gentlemen, we don't need to be fighting. And they're like, who the fuck are you?
You've been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, both guys were just like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I don't know why that struck me so funny, but it did.
And with you were talking about with Sansa, how did you have any quotes or anything when she was calling out?
No, but it was pretty much all gold. Just like when he was talking about how, Stannis was such a great strategist and stuff. He picked the spot for a reason, and she was just basically like, and how did that turn out? And just every time anyone said anything, Davos or Jon, she'd just be like, and that went how again?
He's like, I think she said something like headless sitting under a tree or some shit like that. He was like, Jesus. Fucking Sansa, dude.
I know.
Gives no fucks.
And then in flash forward about 50, 60 years, and she'll be Lady Tyrell.
Pretty much. And at that point, finally, they end this segment with Sansa coming to grips with the fact that she has to call on Littlefinger. Because she's writing out a message. You don't get to actually read the message, but it's pretty much assumed that she is sending it to Littlefinger because they have to get the Knights of the Vale or they were not going to be able to win.
Right.
Which, more Littlefinger, fist bump. I'm excited because I always need more Littlefinger in the show.
Don't ever say that again.
Okay, with that, they go back to the Hound. I think they had a couple more great Ian McShane lines that you're talking about. Like pretty much the entire episode was quotable Ian McShane and Braun lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll save it till we get to this point in the scene, but it was one of my absolute favorite things that Ian McShane's ever uttered. I texted it to you. You know what it is.
Yeah.
But I liked because this is the scene that opened up with everybody in the circle and he's telling the story, right?
Yes.
About his past. And, you know, in my mind, one of the hardest things to do as an actor is, yeah, there's a lot of people in that scene, but it's basically a one-man scene and a one-man show. Because he's walking around, he's telling his story, all the terrible things that he did, and you can fucking see it in his eyes as if he really slit a child's throat while he's talking. You know what I mean? Like, Ian McShane, man, why is he not in more stuff?
Well, it's part of the problem is like, I've always really wanted to watch Deadwood. He's one of the main characters in that, and people made a big point that I think this is the first time he's been back on HBO since Deadwood, which is shocking.
Yeah,
because he's so perfect for like the grungy type of stuff HBO likes to do.
Yeah, I mean, the Pirates of the Caribbean movie that he was in was probably the weakest of the franchise, but he was fucking fantastic throughout the whole thing. Yeah, you know,
he was a Blackbeard, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was perfect awesome for that role. He basically by himself made the movie worth watching. Pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, dude, just everything that he said, telling that story, the story itself is just pretty much shock value on its own. But to watch Ian McShane tell it, like, I don't know. It was an amazing scene to watch. And then to see the Hound actor's face, he's just basically like remembering all the times that he did the same things, you know, and you can see it in his eyes too.
You know what it reminded me of too was the High Sparrow scene with Jonathan Pryce earlier on in the season, where he was delivering the monologue, and it's just one of those things. They're telling a story where they're acting and pretending that they actually did it, and you buy it to the point to where it's captivating and you can't turn away.
Yes,
that's brilliant acting.
And then we had basically Foggy right in with his bandits, because dude, that actor reminded me of the Foggy actor from Daredevil so much.
I didn't get that watching it, but I can see it after you pointed out. But
every time it showed him, like eventually, I had to IMDb the episode to make sure it was not Foggy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But you know, the three of them ride up, and Ian McShane says something like 7 save your brothers or whatever, and then they have an awesome back and forth because they're basically threatening, and Ian McShane is just like, meh, fuck it. Everything the guy says is basically just, meh, fuck it.
We're just trying to build a church, bro. I don't know why you gotta, fuck with us, bro.
Yeah. And then the Hound basically is kind of living up to his name in the sense that if you've ever had a dog on a leash that wants off of it and wants to cut loose, because that's kind of the way he is. He's kind of ready to jump in and just break all three of these guys. But one, he knows that his newfound buddies won't approve of that. And two, he's still not sure that he wants to do anything like that again. The fighting, the killing, and all that.
Yeah, he stands at attentiveness, but is restrained in the fact that, like you were saying, like I think he really, really wants to be done with it all. Because
he keeps like moving in place and walking around and everything, but he never goes forward. You know, it's almost like there's a line drawn in the sand that he's not crossing. I really liked that. I thought that was a nice touch. I don't know if that was scripted or just the actor took it to that level. But,
he's so good.
Oh, he's so good either way.
Yeah. I'm so happy the Hound's back. If you, I'm sure everyone already fucking figured that out by now, but I love me some Hound, dude. I wanted to go back and watch that episode with the lots of cunts line
right
like tonight before I go to bed, just because I'm so happy the Hound's back. Did you have anything else to add with that portion of the Hound stuff?
Just my favorite line later when he is chopping wood and Ian McShane walks up and is trying to get him to take a fucking break for a moment and actually come get dinner and stuff, and he might sneak him some beer and whatnot.
Which, how brilliant, by the way, too, was him taking out his aggression and pent-up frustration by chopping wood.
Right?
Yeah.
But I love the first thing Hound says when Ian McShane walks up is, "Seven save ya." And Ian McShane's like, "I'm a fucking septum. What was I supposed to say?" For some reason, that is my favorite line that Ian McShane has ever uttered. It's something about his delivery. It's just like, "I was caught in a box, man. What did you want me to do?"
I love Ian McShane.
But yeah, I fucking wrote down that quote.
I hope they have him back for John Wick 2. He's fucking awesome in John Wick 2.
Yeah,
in a very, very bit role. After that, they transition over to Arya, which was fucking one of the more batshit scenes of the season so far. She's trying to get herself passage back to Westeros.
Which, how awesome was that scene?
Yeah, it really was.
Because you want to talk about characters that can command a presence. Like, Arya was in total charge of that entire scene. Yeah,
one of the quotes I put down was when she gives the Westerosi ship captain a little bag of gold, basically trying to get her passage back to Westeros because she's completely done with Braavos and the House of Black and White. As you notice too, they changed her hair. They gave her a different physical appearance. She tosses him the captain the little bag of gold. He starts saying, you're going to be below deck in some shitty portion of the boat. And then she tosses a gigantic ass bag of gold. And then she just says, like you're pointing out and mentioning, like, I want a cabin and we leave at dawn. Just walk out.
He said they leave in 2 days or something like that. And she's like, no, I want a cabin and we leave at dawn. And then as she walks by, she takes the gold bag.
Yeah. She lets him keep the little bag, but she takes her gigantic ass bag with her as she leaves.
Yeah.
And then they have the score kick in while she's looking out over the bay, like it's all fucking going Millhouse with Arya. And yeah, it's like I saw it coming, but they give you 0.25 seconds to see it coming to where you're still just like, what the fuck just happened?
Right. Yeah, they were smart enough to know that you knew it was coming.
Yeah. But it was still brilliantly done in the fact that, like, you see the old lady and you're just like, oh god, no. But in the time you even have to react as a viewer,
it's already happening.
Arya, it's too late. She's like fucking... First, she gets stabbed. She gets slashed, and she gets stabbed like twice. And she fucking twists the blade. Waif does.
Ugh.
And then fucking Arya, dude, is such a boss. She fucking still has the presence of mind to fucking reverse headbutt and get out of there.
Yeah.
If I get stabbed once, I'm fucking...
She went over that edge of that bridge into the water like 007 style.
Like, man, like, fucking... I get a paper cut at work. I'm like, workman's comp. I'm fucking done. Fucking Arya, dude. Like, she gets stabbed and sliced up like that and still fucking has that crazy headbutt. And
it was so much more brutal than I expected it to be when they started stabbing Arya. Like, I saw the slash, and then I expected, like, a confrontation as she gets away. But no, she grabs her and completely digs the knife in, like, 2 or 3 times, and on the last one, she just fucking twists it. Like, dude, Jaqen told you not to make her suffer.
Wave gives no fucks, dude.
I know.
Yeah, it was crazy how personally she took all of that Arya stuff.
Oh, I know.
And it was like, if anyone should have been taking it personally, it should have been Arya, because she was beating the shit out of her while she was blind.
Right.
Like, I guess part of it, I bet part of it is that she's really jealous, because you could tell Jaqen really, really took a liking to Arya.
That's the way I always took it.
Yeah. And, the thing with it, too, how he at the last second, he was like, he was sanctioning Arya's death, and he was still, like you just mentioned, don't make her suffer.
Yeah.
Like, one more dig at Waif in the, Arya was clearly the favorite, and I think that's why it was so personal for her.
Yeah.
But good God, that, like, you're mentioning, like, just how brutal it was, that could have been the Arya end cap in the season finale. it was that brutal. Like, it could have been used later. It was that crazy.
And who knows? We might not get any more Arya this season. We still don't know what's to come.
Yeah, I'm still behind the. I don't know if we talked about this on air yet, but I'm pretty sure one of the last episodes of this season is going to be one of those like Blackwater Bay or the Wildlings at the Night's Watch wall, where it's going to be a full episode of something, probably the Winterfell stuff. I think it's going to be an entire episode.
Yeah, I think it is too.
So yeah, we might not get to see more Arya stuff, or maybe not till the finale. But Arya pops back up. Fucking somehow, dude, has still managed to swim after all of that brutality. Finds herself back up on the bay, and man, talking about great acting. Macy Williams, while she's walking around just like all alone in the world, has no one to go to for help, is walking around with these stab wounds, bleeding all over the place, and literally has nowhere to go to or no one to help her.
And she doesn't know if any of these people are Waif.
Yeah. And she doesn't know that Waif's the only one after her. Anyone could be anyone.
Yep.
Jaqen, too, could be out on the quest to kill her because, he personally made the warning to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking brilliant acting, just how terrified she was in that scene.
Yeah, no.
I was blown away by that scene with the music, too, and her walking like that.
Yeah, I was completely shocked the entire scene. I was just like I said, I kind of saw it coming, but the brutality is not what I expected.
You also didn't expect it to come to a head that soon. At least I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I figured they would draw it out a couple of episodes of like them showing like Waif kind of like one step behind her.
That's another reason why I feel if you get any Arya from here on, it's going to be very little.
And in the finale, maybe
because I feel like they don't have the time. We've got episodes 8, 9, and 10, and like we've pointed out several times, 10 is usually the fallout of everything. So we don't know. 8 and 9 is probably 8's where Hardhome happened last time,
and then we really have no idea. 8 was where Hardhome happened, where they fucked with us, expecting shit to go down to 9. 9 has historically been the episode where shit goes down, and then last season with 10, you had the Jon Snow murder.
Yeah,
so shit could happen at any point. Like, they could even completely change their format where episode 10 is the hour-long Winterfell thing.
Yeah.
And there is no fallout. It is just all craziness. Like, we really don't know, and I think that's one of the things that makes it so cool, is they've changed their formula up so much. Did you have anything else to add with the Arya stuff?
Nope, just Jesus Christ, she even twisted it was my exact note. And that's in all caps.
Jesus indeed. Man, that was fucked up, man. I'm still trying to get over that. You felt those stab wounds watching that.
Oh,
shit,
I know.
Dude. Like, it was even more brutal than the goddamn Red Wedding stuff. It was so in your face.
Actually, it mirrored the Red Wedding stuff so much, it was just fucking disturbing on all levels.
And even more so because you didn't actually get to, like with Robb, you didn't get to see him get stabbed. Like, it kind of happened, they had a close-up of their faces between Roose and Robb. And then with Arya, you just got front and center of her stomach and chest, just getting stabbed over and over again. It was like, Jesus Christ, guys.
Yeah.
Fucking, we should not be surprised by Game of Thrones brutality, yet they do it every episode, it seems.
Well, the visual effects and the sound effects and the acting and the music and the camera angles, it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. It is terrifying at just how well they can shoot shit like that. I mean, I feel like they went and got a hobo and figured out the best way to get a camera angle actually stabbing the guy or something. Like, it's just awful. They are so good at awful.
Yeah. Grotesquely gorgeous, as always.
That should be the blurbs on this season's box. They're so great at awful and you grotesquely gorgeous.
Yep. And after that, they go back to the final scene of the episode, back to the Hound. They go back, you see the Hound chopping wood. He is alerted to, was it a scream?
No, the horse, I think.
It was the horse? Okay, yeah. He gets alerted to some sound back at camp. Knows shit has probably gone wrong in some fashion. He starts running back to camp to find the entire church group dead.
Yeah.
And I think it was so brilliant of them to pick Ian McShane for that role. Because you need someone like Ian McShane to get so much emotional impact off of so few lines.
Yes.
And you really did feel the impact the Hound has in reaction to finding him dead.
And in very few lines in a single episode. Like, it was to the point that you see him dead, and you're just as pissed off as the Hound, and you've only known the guy for 5 minutes?
If that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was brilliantly done. I was really devastated that, he didn't get to be a part of the show for longer, but I really appreciate them going after him for that role just because of how important it was for, a really great character in the Hound. Like, what great motivation, and like you said, to do it in about 5 minutes time.
Yeah.
That just shows you the acting quality. It was absolutely genius, I thought. It sucks that we're not going to get more of him, but if you could only get an actor for a bit role, damn, they did a good job.
They did a damn good job, yes.
Did a damn good job. Also, Game of Thrones, not allowed to hang anybody else because their fucking special effects on people hanging disturbs Geoff to his core.
I really thought you were going to bring that up at some point.
It is so fucked up, dude. Like, the shit they do with their eyes.
Yeah.
It's just not okay.
They have very, very good effects.
Ugh. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It was so disturbing.
Dude, but I think we know which path laid before the Hound he's choosing. Because, dude, when he just grabs that axe and the scene goes black.
My note was fucking metal-ass ending.
Yeah.
Fucking Slayer could have been the theme song underneath the Hound picking up that fucking axe. It was so awesome. And more great cinematography with the shot, too, of maintaining the camera angle on the stump.
Yes.
And you don't see the Hound. You just see his body come into frame. I don't even know if you see his face. You see the axe removed from the stump, and then he exits frame, and then you go black.
Yeah.
So you don't follow him. You just basically see, like, in that moment, the Hound's back, and any chance he had of basically a normal life out of the fray was gone.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Hound may be back, but he's not the same man.
And I don't know how they're gonna turn it around, but I think maybe we don't have enough time at the end of this season if they actually end up doing the Cersei trial by combat thing. But I think the Mountain maybe going after these dudes and killing them gets it back on the radar that the Hound is alive. Yeah. And I really do think we're leading up to the Hound being the champion versus the Mountain. And that was like his one last thing, that no matter what, he just wants vengeance on his fucking asshole brother.
I mean, who the fuck else could take down the Mountain if Viper couldn't do it?
No one else, I think, can challenge him, especially in his fucking zombie form. Right now, you could probably fucking chop his arms off, and the Mountain was
just a flesh wound.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I really think that Trial by Combat is going to end up being the final Hound v Mountain thing we've been waiting for. Did you have anything else you wanted to add that you think we missed on the episode, Ron?
Nope. I think that pretty well covers it. I said I really liked the Broken Man theme. I liked it carrying on the way that it has. But I mean, everything that was in this episode, dude, had some sort of impact on the viewer in such a lasting way, and most of it only happened in the span of a few minutes to a few seconds. That's pretty fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah, and there are even more parallels with the Broken Man theme. Tommen, he has no control over the throne and has gotten all of them fucked over. He's one of the most worthless, I guess you could say, like, higher ups in the show.
Yeah.
Snow is, trying his best to, gather up all of these groups to give them manpower, but he can't do it himself because he doesn't have the last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this brilliant parallels that you can kind of draw it to almost everybody.
The only one that up until just an episode or two ago that would have been in there that had his Broken Man storyline wrapped up was really Jorah. because he was broken through most of last season and this season, up until was last week the Khaleesi episode, I believe.
Which Khaleesi thing
Ended with the dragon.
Yeah, I think that was last week.
I had where she had the dialogue with Jorah. That wrapped up his broken man scene. And stuff. But really, you could include him in that too, just because it's about almost a full season. It's about two halves of two different seasons.
It's a good theme, not only for the episode, like all the parallels we pointed out, but just like the season as a whole. It's just really, really well done.
Yeah, I just keep bringing it up because it just really impressed me. As I see a lot of shows try to do that, and you think about how everything this one episode accomplished, like I said, in a span of a few seconds to a few minutes. And then you think about like how shows like Arrow had fucking Ra's al Ghul, and they fucked it up, and they had him for an entire season.
Why do you have to bring up Arrow?
Because it boggles the mind.
And bring the fucking room down. This is a comedy show. And
no,
you bring
it's
up
not.
Fucking Arrow.
Not with us in charge, it's not.
Yeah, if you would like to check us out more, why would you not, after this fucking enlightening content? You can also like and subscribe to our channel. It gets you all of our content, all Let's Plays, podcasts, reaction shows, all go through the YouTube channel. We have Facebook and Twitter descriptions below, too, if you would like to seek us out on those formats. Most importantly, if you know anyone else that might also enjoy our content, we would greatly, greatly appreciate the share. And for this night, all the nights to come, I am Geoff.
And I'm Ron, and now this watch is ended.